Hello, my beautiful bumbles. It's me, the Juliabee. Welcome back, or welcome into the channel if you're new. Yeah, you don't need to say it. You don't need to say it. It's been a minute. 6 months, actually. It's been a minute of 6 months and a minute. I know. I would love to have an excuse, but I really don't. And I would love to say that it's going to change, but for the near future, videos might be a tad spread out until I can adjust to the new routine that is my life. However, I am coming at you with a very important video because it is once again time to participate in Sunrise on the Readathon, hosted by my dear, sweet, wonderful friend, Katie Colson. This year with a little bit of a change because your girl is actually a librarian. Yes, I am. Yes, I am very honored to be a part of the Sunrise team this year as a librarian. Very, very excited, very, very happy to help support Katie and all the readers that we're hoping to see. Cannot freaking wait. We've got a long month ahead of us and a lot of freaking books to get through. So without further ado, let's get into it. So today we are going to be talking about what we all love the most, which is our TBRs. We all love a TBR, and I do love making a TBR. Do I get to any of the books on said TBR? No, never heard of her, Jan. No, don't know her. She doesn't go to this school, actually. But I do want to at least attempt to read a lot of these books that are on my TBR because I have branched out with my reading tastes in the past year. I have completely stepped away from fantasy and romantasy because it just isn't doing it for me. It's just not really calling to me lately. Right now, I'm really in like a thriller era, in a dystopian romance era. I'm like, who is she? Dystopian? Don't know her. I really am also loving some literary fiction and historical fiction. I know, me, historical fiction, who is she? I really am broadening my taste. So I feel like that this TBR that I've built is the most diverse TBR that I've probably ever read. And that's saying a lot because I do read diversely. But as far as genre, oh girl, she's only known one genre her entire life, and that is fantasy. And this barely has any fantasy on it. So before we dive into the TBR, I do just want to talk about the prompts for Sunrise. Of course, if you don't know what Sunrise on the Readathon is, please head over to Katie Colson's channel. I will have all of her links down below, as well as her videos explaining the Readathon and the opening of the Discord and all the prompts and everything like that. I will also link her Instagram, Sunrise on the Readathon, for you to go check out for yourself. But if you don't know what it is a Hunger Games themed readathon. It is a competitive readathon where you are divided up into districts or teams. This year we're doing a little bit of a different spin on it. So district teams will begin with 6 tributes, 24 total, and the tributes will be eliminated each week or battle until only one survives. The goal is to keep your tributes alive, and you do that by reading. Duh. The more you read, the more points you can earn for your team, and therefore try to keep your sweet little innocent tributes alive. And the best way to earn a variety of points is to complete the prompt. This year we are doing legacy prompts, which are prompts that will be here for pretty much every readathon. They were in last year's readathon. They are prompts that are worth 25 points. We have We Remain, which is read a book by a BIPOC author. We have We Remember, which is read a banned or challenged book. We have We Resist, which is read a translated book. And we have We Read, which is read a book that you got from the library. And on top of that, this year, we do have some bonus prompts, which are worth 10 points each. You can add them to any book that you read for the legacy prompt as well. That's why they are called bonus. Or you can read a book with just these prompts and just get 10 extra points. So we have Sunrise on the Districts, which is read a book with the sun or moon on the cover. We have Reaping Day, which is a book that was chosen by your TBR jar if you made one. We have the Training Center, which is read a 450 plus page book or finish a book in a day. Use your discretion with that. If you finish a book in a single day within 24 hours, it counts. We also have Here's Some Advice, Stay Alive, which is read a book by a mentor's recommendation. We do have all the mentor's recommendations posted on the Instagram, and they will be posted in the Discord as well as the FAQ, now that I think about it. We have District Pride, which is read a book with your district's color on the cover. So we also have those graphics posted on the Instagram, in the FAQ, and on the Discord. Then we have the 3-finger salute, which is post any time you finished a book on social media and tag Sunrise on the Readathon. We also have I Love You Like All Fire, which is read a book with queer representation because we love our LGBTQIA community. We also then have The Odds Were Never in Your Favor, which is read a book with a 3.75 average on any platform that you use to track your books, whether that be Goodreads, Fable, Storygraph, Pagebound, whatever you use that average rating. And then we have The Victor's Ceremony, which is read a book that you think will be a 5-star prediction. Something that's been on your TBR that you just haven't picked up yet, but you just feel it in your bones that it's going to be a good one. And those are the prompts. So I have built my TBR around these prompts. Some are combined, some are not, and it is an ever-growing list. So let me stop yammering my gums and actually tell you about the books that I picked for Sunrise. So the first book I picked is Yellow Wife by Sadaqua Johnson. And this has a 4.44 rating on Goodreads, and it is written by a BIPOC author. And it also has brown on the cover. So it fits BIPOC and my district, which is the Earth District. Hashtag my fellow Virgos. So it will count for multiple points, a legacy point and bonus prompts. This book is about Phoebe Brown, who was born on a plantation in Charles City, Virginia. And on her 18th birthday, she was promised freedom. But when her 18th birthday comes around, wouldn't you know that that actually isn't the case? She finds herself thrust into Devil's Acre, which is a jail where slaves are broken, they're tortured, they're beaten, and they're sold every single day. She is forced to become a mistress of a brutal man who I believe owns the jail. She faces like the ultimate sacrifice to get herself out. Obviously, this is historical fiction as well as an African-American fiction, and it did win a Goodreads Choice Award, so I'm very excited to read this. It's kind of weird to say that I'm excited to read this book, but I am very interested in the concept, and so I would actually like to give this a go. The second book on my list is Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson. It is written by a BIPOC author, as well as having brown on the cover, so it counts for legacy and bonus point. This book follows Enchanted Jones, who has big aspirations to be a singer. She's discovered by a legendary R&B artist named Corey Fields. Enchanted thinks that her entire life is about to change. Okay, she thinks that she's about to have it all until one morning she wakes up and she has blood all over her and no memory of how it got there. Interesting. And she discovers that dear Corey is dead. Oh, how did that happen? This book is about to follow the limelight and the expectations of a woman, especially a Black woman, being in the limelight. And it's also going to explore a lot of themes of control and manipulation and just the power of Black voices. And so I'm very interested in reading this book. It is a very interesting concept, and I just want to give it a go. Not to mention that you just can't go wrong with Tiffany D. Jackson. I mean, come on. The next book I want to read is Leave Your Mess at Home by Talani Akinyola, and this has a 4.16 rating on Goodreads. This book follows Lange, an eldest daughter who's estranged from her family, who is secretly back in town of Chicago after almost a decade. She's newly single and she's a recently disgraced influencer, just kind of trying to put her life back together. And unbeknownst to her, the other three siblings are not doing so hot. Anjola is in love with her best friend who just got married to somebody else. Karen, who is a college junior, is grappling with her self-identity and self-worth. And Ola, the golden child with a baby of his own, is questioning his marriage and how to raise a Black child in America. Sounds like a legitimate concern. All four siblings find themselves back at their Nigerian parents' apartment, and a lifetime worth of secrets emerge at this Thanksgiving table, because when doesn't family secret? This sounds like a book where each sibling is going to have to reckon with the past while dealing with everything they're dealing with in the present, and it sounds like there's going to be kind of a split before there can be a rejoining. I feel a personal connection with this story based on just the family aspect, the fractured family aspect. And so I just feel like it would be not necessarily a feel-good time, but I feel like it would really hit what I'm looking for. I feel like it's going to be very insightful about forgiveness and becoming who you want to be, and family bonds and unconditional love as well. And that's just something that I feel like I need to read right now. If I didn't mention before, this is written by a BIPOC author and does have brown on the cover, so of course it's going to count for the bonus points and the legacy. The next book I want to read is called The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. This book has a 4.12 average rating on Goodreads and is written by a BIPOC author, though it does not have brown on the cover, so it will not count for the bonus prompt. This book follows twin sisters, Stella and Desiree, who run away from their home in Louisiana at the sweet young age of 16 years old, and they both take on drastically different lives. Many years later, one sister, Stella, lives with her daughter, in the same town that they once tried to escape. The other secretly is passing as white, and her husband has no idea of her past. But still, even separated by so many miles and so many lies that have been told over the years, their lives start to intertwine again when their daughters meet. This is actually a really cool concept to me, and I'm very excited because I feel like as a mixed race, it is something that is very interesting of how you can be white passing and how that can affect your standing in society versus if you are not, and just kind of the implications of that and how society look like. Again, it's just going to be an exploration of society, and it's going to be an exploration of white privilege, and it's going to be an exploration of racism. I'm very interested in all of those things because growing up, I didn't personally feel very judged for the color of my skin, but when I got older, I definitely saw it a bit. I mean, I see it and I feel it and I hear it a lot more because I'm more loud and proud about it. Whereas a child, I feel that because I wasn't sure what that even meant, because children don't know race, I personally feel like that it was easier for me to be white passing, especially raised by white parents. So very excited to read this book and very interested to see how it goes. The next book I want to read is Sisters in Yellow by Mikao Kawakami. This book is translated, so it would count for the translated work prompt. It also has a 3.71 rating on Goodreads, so it would fit the prompt for the under 3.75 average. This book follows a group of young women on the fringes of 1990s Tokyo. It's exploring themes of poverty and friendship and survival through the eyes of the narrator, Hana Ito, who is kind of looking back on her teenage years and kind of thinking, like, you know, how we all do, the teenage years with her friends and kind of the world back then, the world of crime and nightlife and hardship. These friends open a bar called The Lemon, and basically the story is following them as they're trying to keep the business going and take care of each other. And I believe the main character is starting off as at 40 in this book, and like you're gonna get flashbacks of like her life through her teenage years, and then I think we're gonna flash to the present is how I understood the synopsis. Kind of very intrigued by this. I was recommended this by a friend, and it's basically like it's like a thrilling noir style, but also very poetically written. And I was like, you know what, I'll give it a shot because it does sound interesting to me. And I do think that lately I just want to read books that explore found family and comfort and just kind of like growing out of poverty and like making moves and climbing the ladder, or at least like kind of surviving, like making it work. I think those stories are really calling to me right now. So very interested to read this book. The next book I want to read is Interior Chinatown by Charles Yu. This has a 3.93 on Goodreads, and it is a translated work. I'm gonna be real honest, I don't know a lot about this book. I know Katie read it for her Smut book club, and that's really all I know. I do know that they said it was, anyone who read it said it was like a really interesting time. It was kind of like a mindfuck. It sounded like it was almost similar to We Used to Live Here in a way. So I'm like interested to see how that's gonna really play a role in it, or how similar it actually is. I think it's more just like it fucks with your head in that same way. But I do know this is like a deeply like personal novel about like pop culture and race and immigration and assimilation and kind of like escaping the roles that we're forced to play in our own lives and in society. So the concept sounds great. And again, I'm really interested lately in reading books about society and how society treats other races. So I thought I would give it a go. Okay, this next book I know I've said that I'm like excited about every single book that I'm gonna read, but this book actually is like probably gonna be the top of my TBR. This was also recommended to me by Gretchen and Travis. This book is called Breasts and Eggs by Mikao Kawakami. And this book is following 3 generations of women in Japan. We have Natsuko, who is a struggling writer. We have Makiko, who is obsessed with breast implants, I guess. And then we have Midoriko, who is struggling with puberty. Okay, interesting. And the book is apparently split into 2 parts. It delves into societal pressures, it delves into body image, and it delves into reproductive choices like IVF and the complex relationships between women in a patriarchal society. Imagine that. What I'm really mostly interested in and what called me to this book the most is the conversation around IVF, which is also something that I am intimately familiar with, unfortunately. But I am really interested in kind of seeing a perspective on that because that's not something you really see in literature, and I would like to read about it. I am prepared to cry, and that's okay. I think I am in a good headspace to do so. So I really want to give it a go. And I don't know much else about the book other than that. I literally saw that and I was like, yeah, okay, let's give it a go. So, breasts and eggs. We'll see how it goes. The next book I want to read is a very repeat author for me. Probably one of my favorite authors of the last couple years, which is Scorpion Deep by C.G. Drews. Yeah, y'all have heard me rant and rave about this person. Don't Let the Forest In? Amazing. 5 stars. No notes. Hazelthorn? Amazing. 5 stars. No notes. Scorpion Deep? I don't know. If it's not 5 stars, I will be sorely upset. And sorely surprised, actually, because every book has been 5 stars for me. Because it is so gripping and dripping and just... Oh, this book is not out yet. I have an ARC for it that I got from NetGalley, but it is sitting at a 4.73 rating on Goodreads. So... it must be pretty good from what other ARC readers are saying. Now, this book will have queer representation, so it's going to go in the queer representation category. The author is not BIPOC. This one is where Don't Let the Forest In was about a forest and Hazelthorn was about a garden. This book is about the ocean. So all my thalassophobia people, you might want to sit this one out. I'm just saying. It's about a lonely boy who accidentally awakens an obsessive sea god. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. You don't need to know anything else. You don't need to know anything else. If that sentence alone doesn't get you interested in this book, I don't know how to help you. I don't know what to tell you because you're just not going to be interested. You're just not. So summer is ending. And Jonathan Covey is, watching his friends go off to college. All hip, happy, hurrah. Unbeknownst to them, Jonathan was not accepted into college. Yikes. So what does any sensible teenager do when they feel like they're going to be abandoned and left behind by all their friends? Oh, we're just going to pay a tithe to an eldritch sea god, of course. Like, why wouldn't you do that, huh? And wouldn't you know that the eldritch sea god kind of a little bit has a parasocial relationship with Jonathan? Just a smidge, just a little bit. Jonathan is kind of maybe a little bit okay with this, but kind of maybe a little bit needs to kill him. I'm so excited for this book. I cannot wait to read it. I'm so blessed to have an ARC of this book. The fact that I haven't read it yet, and I think I got the ARC like a month ago or something, is insane. So hopefully y'all have a NetGalley account. Hopefully your NetGalley score is up because you should go request this book. You should go do it. Like, see, the worst that they can say is no. The next book I want to read that is also queer representation is Romantasy by Mary Roche. Why? I don't know. Because I thought it was a cute cover and I thought it was a cute concept. I mean, it has a 3.65 on Goodreads, so could be good, could be bad. Don't know. We'll find out. This is supposed to be a cozy queer fantasy, which you can never go wrong with cozy queer fantasy. I mean, come on. This follows Juniper and Mo, and one day Juniper accidentally volunteers them both to go kill a fearsome monster. Oh, and by the way, Juniper maybe kind of has feelings for his platonic best friend. Oops. Juniper hates camping, he hates the dark, and he hates foraging for mushrooms, but you know what he doesn't hate? How good Mo looks in those freaking hot pants. You know, there's just something about a man in hot pants. Can't be explained. I don't know really what this book is about, except that we're going on an adventure and we're going to be lusting after our platonic best friend the entire time. Listen, I don't know, but I thought it was cute. And sometimes you just need a cute time. So I'm going to read it and we're going to see. Also, so I did say that this book has queer representation. It also has brown on the cover, if you count the horse. So my earth signs, give it a go. The next book I want to read has queer representation. It is also over 460, pretty sure it was 60, 460 pages. And that is Jade War by Fonda Lee. Now here's the thing. That would require me to actually finish Jade City, which I'm about, don't look at the bookmark because that's not actually true. I'm about 50-something% of the way through. Listen. Gretchen recommended me this book. Well, Gretchen and Travis. Well, most of my recs from this video are going to be from Gretchen and Travis. I'm not sorry about it. This series is basically an urban fantasy series that takes place in an Asian-inspired metropolis. And listen, this book is good. Like, it's freaking good. I'm having a great freaking time. Have I been reading this book for over 2 weeks? Yeah, I have. Because listen, this book is equivalent to like what Will of the Many was for me, where I really needed to sit my little happy ass down and I needed to pay attention to it. And I started the audiobook first without physically reading it. That was a mistake. So I wanted to then start the book over, but I wanted to start the book over to read it physically and then kind of dip back into the audiobook and tandem read and then just kind of switch to the audio. But I have not had any time. So my hope, honestly, is like if I don't finish this is just going to take the place of Jade War, but it still has queer rep in it. So, but I am really loving this book. Like I said, basically there are a group of warriors called Green Bones that have abilities because of the jade that they wear on their bodies. And jade is it's kind of like a precious resource. It's a regulated resource because Green Bones don't believe that other people in other countries, cities should have this because they do not have the training or the tradition or the values or the morals around jade to really respect it properly and be able to use it. It's a very political driven story, and I'm kind of dipping my toes into those more because I am discovering that I love them. There's also something where there are multiple clans in this book, and we're following the Call clan, which is 4 siblings of the Call clan need to prepare for battle after kind of peace has been broken between them. Whether or not I actually read Jade War, we will see, but I definitely will be finishing Jade City. So there's that. Also, because that series was on Travis's list, I'm counting it as a Travis rec. Okay. The next book I want to read is a mentor recommendation by Tal, who is a mentor for the Earth District, and this book also does have brown on the cover, and that is Slewfoot by Brown. So this book follows Abatha, who recently gets married to this man who then dies. Right? And this is taking place in like colonial New England, okay? And so Abatha's like all alone in this like pious patriarchal society. And she's kind of trying to like stay true to herself and fight for what she's got left, which let's be honest isn't much. And then one day, this mysterious entity named Slewfoot arrives. And he's also kind of just trying to find his role in the world. Like, is he predator, prey, protector, destroyer? We don't know. We're going to figure it out. But the thing about this society, as with any society select in the colonial time, is that the word witchcraft is being whispered among the townsfolk. So that's bad. So it kind of is like both Abatha and Slewfoot, they need to decide who and what they are so they can navigate this world and navigate the rumors about them. And that's really all I know about the book. I just know that it does have pictures, which I haven't seen in a book in a very long time. You know what I would love when I do publish my own books is I would love to go back to when we had like full colored photos in like some pages of the book. Like not all of them. Like I don't want like a picture book, but I just don't like pictures. Like fully colored maps, characters, places. Wouldn't that be nice? Do you remember how good we had it like in the early 2000s when books would do that? I miss that. We should get back to that. Make that the new fucking book talk trend. You heard it here. Just saying. The next book I want to read is a recommendation by Earth Captain Ashley, and that is Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wong. This book has a 4.31 on Goodreads, and for my fire district, it does have red on the cover, so it would count for your bonus. Now the thing is, again, very late to the game on reading this, and I really don't know what it's about. I just know that I've been told that I'm gonna bawl my eyeballs out. That's kind of difficult to do, so if someone's telling me that, girl, the emotional damage these pages must hold is crazy. I also have heard that like this is what Catabasis tried to be, and listen, anything, okay, anything can be Catabasis because that book was not for me. So, want to give this a go. Ashley, thank you for the rec. Moving on. Okay, I know I said there wasn't a lot of romantasy on this list, and there really hasn't been. So this is going to be my first romantasy that has a sun and moon on the cover, and that is Heavenly Bodies by Amani Ederu. This book has Greek mythology, enemies to lovers, and shadow magic. All things that your girl over here will salivate for. Okay, so if I don't love this, then I don't know what the hell went wrong. Oh, it also has star-crossed lovers, which is another trope that I love. So if I don't love this, something went horribly wrong. Funnily enough, I haven't actually heard a lot about this book, so I know that it is a 3.95 on Goodreads. Like I said, it has a moon and sun on the cover, and it is blue on the cover for my water people, my water district. So there you go. Okay, the next book I want to read, I don't know, okay? Yes, that was not a complete sentence because I just don't know. I have had this on my TBR for a while. It has a moon on the cover, so I picked it. Whether or not I read it and whether or not I read it and love it are two completely different things. That is The Wolf and the Woodsman by Ava Reed. All I have heard about Ava Reed is that she writes horrible books. Have I read anything by her? No. Pretty sure. Pretty certain. I feel like I would know because the amount of people that tell me that this person writes horrible books, beautiful cover, but horrible books is astounding. So I'm a little trepidatious. I did want to read this after reading A Night in the Moth by Rachel Gillig, and I have all of that footage for Night in the Moth filmed, but did I ever read this? Clearly not. And that was a year ago. No. We love content creation. We love burnout. We love it. It is kind of like a bodyguard damsel bromance. There's a wolf. There's a woodsman. What I'm saying. There's pagans. And there is a lot of Hungarian and Jewish mythology and folklore in this. I do know that. Will I read this? I don't know, but it's pretty. And I really want to read it to decide if I need to unhaul it or not. Because last week I just unhauled 65 books off my shelves. That's why my shelves look beautiful. That's why I'm actually filming in front of my shelves. I feel like I need to read this to decide if it's worth it. The next book I want to read, well, let me take that back. I don't know if if I want to read this because it has a 3.27 rating on Goodreads and it's a debut new released last month. And that is The Secret World of Briar Rose by Cindy Pham. Listen, I love Cindy, okay? I love watching her content. In fact, I think the first exposure to Cindy I had was her reading a course of Silver Flames and getting drunk as fuck while reading it. Or was it a quart of wings and ruin? It doesn't matter. My first exposure was an ACOTAR video of her literally getting plastered reading it. And I've loved her ever since. But I'm scared, okay? I don't know how this is gonna go. The concept sounds phenomenal. It sounds great. It's like lush, it's queer, it's a Sleeping Beauty retelling. It's like talking about escapism and grief and like dreaming of a better world. But is it good? I don't know. I'm a little scared. But it's so pretty. It's like, oh, you know, it's like an apple. It could be like pretty on the outside but rotten on the inside. Listen, we're gonna give it a go. Who knows? I might love it because I do read trash and I do love trash. You know, sometimes I love trash, but I don't have high hopes for this. The next books are the last on my list. There's 4 left and they are all mentor recommendations. So I'm very excited to try them. I just picked from the mentors that I felt like had either books I hadn't read or books I was really interested in. And some of them have been on my TBR for a little bit. The first one is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. This is Samantha's recommendation. It's like one of her favorite books of all time. And I've never read it. I've never read the series. My husband did start this book and he said he's really enjoying it so far. So I thought maybe it's time I get on the bandwagon and give it a go. If you don't know what this book is about, don't do that. Don't be like me, okay? Because I don't know what it's about. I know it's like a heist. It's like something about a heist, found family. There's a whole like Netflix series about this. Like it's basically like happening in tandem with the Shadow and Bone trilogy, which I am also scared to read at some point in my life. If you don't know what this book is, shame on you and shame on me, but also shame on you. I just lied. There was actually more than 4 books. I just forgot that I don't own some of them physically. The next book I want to read is a book recommended by Jess, My Cats Can't Read, who is a water sign mentor, and that is Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Sue Lynn Tan. I've had this book actually on my TBR for a long time because I really liked the premise of it. It is inspired by the legend of a Chinese moon goddess, basically about a woman's quest for freedom of her mother against like the most powerful immortal in the realm. Our main character, she's being hidden by the celestial emperor, exiled her mother for stealing his elixir of immortality. And this is like completely unbeknownst to her. And then one day, like her magic flares, like it finally appears and she's discovered. And so she has to go like actually even more into hiding. So her identity is not discovered. And so she's forced to flee her home and leave her mother behind. And so she makes her way to the celestial kingdom. And along the way, she meets the emperor's son and kind of like trains with him and learns under him, and she masters archery and magic. And of course, as one does, a little bubble, a little poof of romance blossoms between. I really wanted to read this because this got put on my TBR after I finished Water Moon, and Water Moon is actually like now one of my favorites of all time. I really enjoyed that story. So I was looking for something very similar, and this felt like it hit the vibe. Thank you, Jess, for the rec, because I would actually really love to finally read this. The next book I want to read is recommended by Fire Captain Gretchen, and that is The Poet Empress by Shen Tao. This book is described as a sweeping, epic, and intimate fantasy perfect for fans of The Serpent and Wings of Night. Hello? If you've been on the channel for any period of time, you know that that is one of my favorite series of all time. So yeah, I'm gonna freaking read this. This is following the Azalea dynasty where the emperor is dying and the land is being consumed by a famine, and poetry magic is becoming lost to all except the powerful. And I was like, poetry magic? Okay, I'm here. I'll hear it out. So after the 5th death of a sibling, Wei Yin is like, her and her family are on the brink of starvation. And so she'll do anything to save the remaining members of her family. And that means even offer herself as a concubine to the cruel heir of the powerful, brutal Azalea house. But as it so happens, the palace is in the midst or at the knife's edge of a civil war. Oh, okay. Yeah, so Wei Yin is kind of trapped in the center, at the side of the cruel prince. Great. And so she has to begin to like rely on herself and her wit. And she has to learn how to become a poet in a world where it's forbidden for women to learn how to read. Oh, sounds like where America's headed. I'm very interested to read this. I don't know if you can tell or if it's showing up on camera, but this cover is like shimmery and I really, really love it. Even the side edges are shimmery. Very intrigued to read this, especially because it's touted like people that love Serpent and Wings of Night will love this. I want to love this. I want to learn about poetry magic. I want to have some political intrigue and I want to have an enemies to lovers. That is what I want. That sounds amazing. And again, like the cover is freaking stunning. So thank you, Gretchen, for this recommendation. I cannot wait to read this. The next book I want to read is recommended by Fire Captain Lori, and that is The Thursday Murder Club. Yes. Yes, I'm finally going to freaking read this series. Oh my god. There is now, I think, a Netflix movie or TV show about this, but this book and series follows 4 unlikely companions that live in a nursing home. And they team up once a week at like a little bridge table to solve unsolved murders together, which I think is just so freaking cute. But when an actual murder takes place like on their doorstep, they actually are at like the seat of the crime here and think to themselves, why don't we actually solve this? As you do. I mean, these people are like pushing 80 years old and they're thinking to themselves, yeah, I got the skills to do this. More power to them. Lori has talked about this series so much and has been wanting me to read it for so long. So I feel like that this is a personal vendetta to me that I need to read this book finally. So I will finally give it a go. She did tell me that it's a bit slow in the first book, but the others get better. I'm going to start with the first, obviously, and we'll see how far we get. But can't wait to try them out. The next book I want to read is a book recommended by librarian Travis, and that is Kai Kai by Vaishnavi Patel. This is written by a BIPOC author, and it does have a 4.17 on Goodreads. I don't know much about this book either, except that the premise is basically, what if the woman history remembers as a villain, it really has her own story to tell. So this novel is a retelling. It reimagines the life of Kai Kai, one of the queens of King Dasharatha, and the woman traditionally blamed for sending Rama into exile. So instead of portraying her as like this jealous, power-hungry stepmother, the book really explores like her as a complex woman navigating politics and power and marriage and, you know, patriarchy, of course. And then from what I understand in this retelling, she possesses a magical connection that where she can manipulate the bonds that tie people together, which I think is very interesting, and kind of like her rise from princess to queen. I wanted to give it a go. It sounds like something that's up my alley, honestly, because it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, it's a mythological retelling. Love those, especially Greek retelling. I know this isn't Greek, it's Hindu, but it's still a retelling and I love that. It's like a feminist fantasy. Can we call it that? That's what it feels like to me. There is court intrigue and like political machinations, like family relationships. So on paper, it has everything that I really love. And so I wanted to give it a go. Also, I really do love a story where it's like, you've got fate, you've got like a fate laid out by the gods and like you just defy all of that because you are your own person with your own agency. I always love stories like that. The next recommendation comes from Air Captain Jordan, and that is The Measure by Nikki Ehrlich. This book apparently explores the concept of, would you want to know the length of your life? Like, would you want to know when you are going to die? So this book follows the concept of one day, one random day, a box shows up on your doorstep. And you open the door and you have this box. And this box basically is going to tell you the length of your life, when you will die. And this box has appeared on this day at everyone's doorstep in the world. And so it sets society into like this frenzy of, do I open the box? Do I not open the box? Oh my God, like the people that do open the box, now they know when they're going to die. What are they going to do with that knowledge? And then with the people that do, that don't know, like, are they going to open the box? Do they want to have that knowledge? What will they do with like not having the information? This very dystopian concept of how is the world going to like basically remake itself with the knowledge of when you're going to die. Because when you know, what are you going to do with the time that you have left? Especially if it's a short amount of time. What if it's forever long and you're like, wow, I know that I'm going to die at like 99 years old. I have all this time in the world. Like I can do so much. Like how is that going to reshape society with this like forbidden knowledge? And so it does follow like a cast of 8 ordinary people who are all from like different walks of life and different parts of life. It's truly going to explore the different mindsets of all these people. I thought I would give it a go. People said that this is really emotionally charged. I'm ready to get hurt. I'm just ready to get hurt. I'm ready to get my feelings hurt. I know. So thank you, Jordan, for the rec. This book was recommended by Air mentor Christy, and that is Remarkably Bright Creatures. And it has a 4.36 rating on Goodreads and also was made into a movie. This concept kind of made me think of The Horror, which I read at the beginning of this year, which is basically widow finds weird sea creature. But where that was a horror, this sounds like a sweet, loving, emotional, tissue box grabbing of a time. Love that for me. So this follows a widow, Tova Sullivan, who begins working at an aquarium after her husband has died. She's just kind of mopping floors and doing regular janitorial duties, just kind of trying to keep busy to help her cope with the loss of her husband. And she's very familiar with this because her 18-year-old son, Eric, disappeared about 30 years ago. And so for company, she becomes acquainted with like this curmudgeonly old octopus named Marcellus. And Marcellus is very intelligent, and he wouldn't dream of helping a human out except for Tova. He develops like this really strong bond with her somehow. And I guess somehow he learns what happened to her son. And so with that, he's trying in every way possible to tell her the truth before it's too late for him. I'm very interested in this concept. It's mainly sticking out to me because of reading The Horror. And so I'm wondering like what direction this is going to go, because where The Horror was, like I said, a horror and took a very interesting direction, I think this book is going to hurt my feelings. I think this book is really going to hurt my feelings. I think I'm not going to recover. And I love and hate that for me, because I did tear up a little bit in The Horror. This, I feel like I'm going to need to take stock out in Kleenex. So thank you, Christy, for the rec. Last but not least, this recommendation comes from the diva, the queen, the amazing Adriana, who is an Air mentor. And that is Ariadne by Jennifer Saint. And what can I say about this? It's a Greek retelling. Like, need I say more? The crazy thing is, I have had this book since 2021. Book of the month, 2021. Yeah, I know. Never read it. You would think I would have because, well, duh. But no, I have not, but I want to now. So it's a Greek retelling, of course. It follows Ariadne. Love Ariadne. And it's putting kind of like a forgotten woman of Greek history, or Greek mythology, I should say, back into like the forefront, back eye of people, and like to give her own tale. It does have a 3.78 on Goodreads, which isn't bad in my opinion, but I haven't really heard much about this book, so it could go either way. Also, I really want to read this because A Touch of Darkness is, again, one of my favorite series of all time. Will read anything Scarlett St. Clair writes. And in those books, she explores Ariadne and her sister Phaedra. And so I would love to read another retelling specifically about her to hold me over until I actually get her story. Is that it? That's it. That is it, y'all. That is all the books that I plan to read in the month of July. I say plan, I mean that very loosely, but that is my TBR for the month of July for Sunrise on the Readathon. I'm so excited to see all of you again for this second round of the Readathon. I cannot express enough how much I appreciate, how much gratitude I have for this Readathon, because it brought me so many wonderful friends. I love having friends. It brought me so many incredible people that I truly don't know what my life was like without them. Like, their chaotic selves. Cannot imagine. And I have to give credit to Katie for putting together the Readathon that brought us all together. I appreciate her so much. So yes, please go check out her channel, check out her links, check out the video, check out the merch. The merch is merching. And I wish my other bonfire order had arrived, because the merch really is fantastic. So I hope you go check it out. And let me know what you're going to read. If you're going to participate in the Readathon, or what you're going to read, what your TBR is, what your favorites are. What are you most excited about? Are you scared? Because you probably should be. Because once that cannon fires, it's anybody's game. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos from me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm here all week, baby. I hope to see you in the Discord on July the 1st. And may the books be ever in your favor.